Hello everyone, this is Jake from Down the Weeaboo Hole, and today we're going to be doing something a little different. 2 years ago, I promised to make a video defending the Junji Ito Collection during my top 10 creepy things in anime video. And I started writing a script, but I just never finished it. I want to rectify this broken promise this Halloween by finally giving my thoughts on the Junji Ito Collection anime that came out during the 2018 winter season. When I was originally writing my thoughts on the collection, my only exposure to Junji Ito was with this anime. However, during these 2 years, I've read Uzumaki, the Tomie collection, and a few other stories. And I have to say that my opinion on the anime series hasn't changed. We can all agree that Studio Dean did an atrocious job with the anime in terms of animation and the overall art style. It feels so stiff and bland, and I really wish that a more competent studio could have adapted Ito's horrifically gorgeous art style. I do, however, like the color palette the series used. The washed out grays and browns gives the series a constant feeling of sorrow and uneasiness, which I think works very well for a horror anime. The music is both terrifying and campy, which I think fits with the tone of the stories picked for this collection. I believe that the stories chosen for this collection really showcase the brilliance and versatility of Ito's work. When I first learned about Junji Ito, I thought all his stories were going to deal with horrific abominations that were going to make me want to invest in a nightlight. But I was completely wrong. The first episode of the collection features Soichi, this little troublemaker that is inflicting curses on his fellow classmates. I absolutely loved this story, since that even though it dealt with the supernatural, there was also this comedic feeling to the entire episode. It really caught me off guard, and made me realize that there was a lot more to Junji Ito's stories than just terrifying imagery. I think this might have turned off a lot of people to the series, since Ito is known for these horrific stories, and instead we got this story about this spooky kid causing trouble. This first story set the stage of what I was to expect from this collection. It made me realize that every story was going to be unique, and that the tone of each story could contrast greatly. This realization was made more clear when the second story in the first episode, Hell Doll Funeral, featured a very short story that left me terrified. This was exactly what I wanted from the collection, and even though the art isn't on par with Ito's, that reveal of the mutant-looking doll left me with chills. And this is where I think the collection succeeds, especially for someone not familiar with the manga. The grotesque imagery has the same impact that it would if you saw it in the manga. Ito's abominations are just so grotesque and outrageous that even though the anime doesn't do them justice, they still come off just as scary. I think this is due to Ito's brilliance as an artist, and just his ability to conceive such horrific imagery. I found myself watching the anime just to see what kind of ideas Ito had come up with, and I didn't really think about the animation or art style at all. And of course you can say, well, why not just read the manga if you just want to see the stories Ito came up with? And to that, you're absolutely correct. I think this collection is completely useless for those who have already read and are familiar with Junji Ito's work. But I believe that this anime is a great showcase for someone who isn't familiar with his work, and it's also a great advertisement in order for them to check out the manga. This was especially true for me, since once I finished the series, I couldn't wait to start reading Ito's work. The anime definitely gave me a great selection of stories to launch off of. The Long Dream is probably my favorite Ito story I've seen so far. I'm very interested in dreams, and the whole idea of living out your life in your dream and aging while in that dream is just so fascinating to me. Stories like Greased and Shiver made me cringe so bad from just how disgusting the visuals were and made me feel so uncomfortable. I love the great false subversion Fashion Doll presents to the viewer. At first I thought the model was a horrible monster, but then I thought maybe I was just judging her harshly, but then it actually turned out she was a monster. I love how Ito is saying that maybe you should judge a book by its cover and trust your instincts right away. Smashed has such an interesting concept that just kept me on the edge of my seat the entire time I was watching it. Painter gave me my first taste of Tomie, and I'm so happy the anime gave me more Soichi with stories such as Cloth Teacher and Rumors. I remember being completely freaked out after watching Slug Girl at my sister's place in the country when I was dog sitting alone. I also remember feeling sad from stories like Gentle Goodbye, which was a welcome surprise that I didn't expect from Ito. And who could forget that monstrous cougar from Window Next Door? A story both terrifying and hilarious. Oh, and how about that brain snake from Honored Ancestors? That is such an unforgettable sight. The collection is just filled with such fantastic stories that have just stuck with me over these past 2 years. I think the only story I would consider bad would be The Circus Comes to Town. as it felt very generic compared to the rest of the stories in the collection, but everything else was so unique and showcased the brilliance of Junji Ito's twisted mind. So is the Junji Ito collection as bad as everyone says it is? I don't think so. I think it did a well enough job to show several different stories to get the viewer interested in the rest of Ito's work. Would I recommend it? Definitely not. If you're going to check out Junji Ito, definitely read the manga instead. But what did you think of the collection? Did you enjoy your time watching it? Or did you think it disgraced Ito's original work? Let me know in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe. Also follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and join the Discord if you want to talk about Junji Ito or any other anime. Take care everyone, and happy Halloween!